We are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
WBFR in New York City.
This is WBFR Playhouse of the Air. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen. Greetings from WBFR Studio A in Manhattan, New York, right here in the US of A. I'm your host, Freddie Fillmore, and it is my pleasure to bring you your favorite stories this and every week on WBFR Playhouse of the Air. Tonight we bring you a real feel-good heartwarmer, perfect for this or any Christmas Eve. It's a Wonderful Life. We begin our story in the little town of Bedford Falls, New York, where a number of people in the town are praying for their dear friend, a typical American named George Bailey.
Dear God, please look over my husband, George.
George is a good boy, you know that. My son has always gone out of his way to give others a hand. Now it's him who needs
Help my big brother George. He's done so much for all of us. More for me than I remember.
All the times he'd stay late after work and not his consent. The world needs more like George Bailey.
George Bailey never thinks about himself. I wouldn't have a roof over my head if it
If
wasn't
it wasn't for him, I would have given up long ago. I must have taken the last cent he had.
The voices carry heavenward, and Joseph, the superintendent of angels, summons Clarence, an apprentice angel.
You sent for me, sir?
Yes, Clarence. A man down on Earth needs our help.
Splendid! Is he sick?
No, worse. He's discouraged. At exactly 10:45 p.m. tonight, Earth time, that man will be thinking seriously of throwing away God's greatest gift.
Oh dear! He's alive? Then I only have half an hour to dress. What are they wearing now?
You will spend that half hour getting acquainted with George Bailey.
Sir, if I should accomplish this mission, might I perhaps win my wings? I've been waiting over 200 years now, and people are beginning to talk.
What's that book you've got with you?
The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, sir.
You do a good job with George Bailey, and we'll see about your wings.
Thank you!
If you're going to help George, you'll want to know a little something about him. Look, see the town?
Why, yes. A group of young boys sledding down a hill, snow-covered hill, onto the ice.
Yippee!
Who's that?
That's George Bailey when he was 12, back in 1919. Something happens here you'll have to remember later on.
Here comes the scare baby, my kid brother, Harry Bailey.
I'm not scared.
Yippee!
Help!
His brother, Harry fell through the ice.
I'm coming, Harry. Make a chain, gang.
His brother fell through the ice and George saved him.
But the icy water gave George a bad ear. It was weeks before he could return to his after-school job at Old Man Gower's drugstore.
It's me, Mr. Gower, George Bailey.
You're late.
2 cents worth of shoelaces, Violet?
Please, Georgie. I like him.
You like every boy. What's wrong with that?
Here you are.
Bye, Georgie. See you later, Mary.
Made up your mind yet, Mary?
I'll take chocolate.
With coconuts?
I don't like coconuts.
You don't like coconuts? Say, brainless. Don't you know where coconuts come from? Look at here. From Tahiti, Fiji Islands, the Coral Sea.
Is that in your magazine? I never saw it before.
Of course you never. Only us explorers can get it. I've been nominated for membership in the National Geographic Society. Let me get your ice cream.
Is this the area you can't hear on? George Bailey, I'll love you to the day I die.
I'm going exploring someday. Wait and see.
George, you're not paid to be a canary.
Goodbye, George.
Goodbye, Mary.
What's that piece of paper George just picked up?
It's a telegram from Mr. Gower. He found out this morning that his son died of influenza, and he spent the afternoon drowning his grief in whiskey.
Mr. Gower, do you need anything?
No.
I'll get them, sir.
Take those capsules over to Miss Blaine's.
They have the diphtheria there, haven't they?
I'll get going.
Yes, sir. Mr. Gower, that bottle you used, you put something wrong in those capsules.
Who do you think you're talking to?
You're hurting my sore ear.
Did you hear what I said? Get out of here.
Mr. Gower, you don't know what you're doing. You put something wrong in those capsules. I know you got that telegram, and you're upset. But look at the bottle you used, Mr. Gower. It's poison.
Poison?
Don't hit my sore ear again.
Poison, oh George.
All I wanted was to make sure. Mr. Gower, I won't ever tell a soul. Hope to die. I won't.
Did he ever tell anyone about those pills?
Not a soul.
Did he ever marry the girl? Did he ever go exploring?
We'll get there soon enough, Clarence. George grew up and wanted to go to college, but there just wasn't the money. So he worked 4 years at the Building and Loan Association.
Building and Loan Association?
George's father was in the building and loan business, along with George's Uncle Billy.
George, what's the combination of the safe?
We wrote it down so you wouldn't forget it.
That's right. Where?
Who's that?
That's Henry F. Potter, the richest and meanest man in all the county.
Peter! Potter's here.
Mr. Bailey, Mr. Bailey, Mr. Bailey. There's nothing quite so loathsome as a family business. Now, Peter, you know what I'm here for, and I'm on a very tight schedule, a family to evict at 3.
Okay then, Mr. Potter, here's the thing. I just need a little more time. I'll dig up that 5,000 somehow.
Have you put any pressure on those people of yours to pay their mortgages?
Times are hard, Mr. Potter. A lot of people are out of work.
Then foreclose.
I can't do that. These families have children.
Are you running a business or a charity ward?
Mr. Potter, what makes you such a hard-skulled character? You've no family, no children. You can't begin to spend all the money you've got.
So I suppose I should give it to miserable failures like you and that idiot brother of yours to spend for me?
You can't call my father a failure.
All right, son, thanks.
Don't let him say that about you, Pop.
What kind of business are you running here?
George worked and saved enough to see him through university, but first he was going to Europe. Old man Gower surprised him with the gift of a great big suitcase. On his way home from the store, he ran into his friends Ernie, the cab driver, and Bert the cop. Eat.
Hey, Ernie!
Hiya, George.
Hi, Bert.
Hey, George, what's a suitcase for?
I'm a rich tourist today. How about driving me home in style?
Sure, Your Highness. And for the top of the cab, for the carriage train, I puts on my hat.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bailey. Looks like you're ready to get out of here.
Hello, Violet. Hey, you look good. That's some dress.
This whole thing, I only wear it when I don't care how I look. See you later.
Want to come along, Bert? I'll show you the town.
No, thanks. I think I'll go home and see what the wife's doing.
Family man.
That evening, George had dinner with his father.
Boy, my last supper in the Bailey boarding house.
We're sure gonna miss you, George. I wish we could send Harry to college with you.
We have that all figured out. Harry will take my job at the building and loan for 4 years, then he'll go.
He's pretty young for that job.
No younger than I was.
You were born older, George. I suppose you've decided what you're gonna do when you get out of college.
What I've always talked about. Building things, design new buildings, plan modern cities.
It's just a hope, but you wouldn't consider coming back to the building alone, would you? I know it's early to talk about.
No, I couldn't face being cooped up for the rest of my life in that shabby little office. I'm sorry, Pop. I didn't mean that remark. But this business of spending all your life trying to figure out how to save 3 cents on a length of pipe, I go crazy. I want to do something big and important.
You know, George, I feel that in a small way, we are doing something important. It's not too much for a man to want his own roof and walls and fireplace. And we're helping him get those things in our shabby little office.
I know, Dad. But most of my friends have already finished college. I just feel like if I don't get away, I'd bust.
You're right, son. This town is no place to live if you aren't willing to crawl the Potter. Get your education, then get out.
I'm glad you see what I'm talking about. Say, maybe I'll go say goodbye to Main Street. Last night in town and all.
Have a good time, son.
Hello, Georgie Porgy.
Hello, Vi.
Where are you going?
Oh, I'll probably end up at the library.
Don't you ever get tired of just reading about things?
Yes. What are you doing tonight?
Not a thing, Georgie.
Are you game, Vi? Let's say we make a night of it.
Oh, I'd love to, Georgie. What'll we do?
Let's go out in the fields, and take off our shoes, and walk in the grass.
Huh?
Then we can go up to Stewart Lake. It's beautiful up there in the moonlight, and we can swim. Then we can climb Mount Bedford, and smell the pines, and watch the sunrise against the peaks. And we'll stay up there the whole night, and everybody will be talking, and there'll be a terrific scandal.
George, have you gone crazy? Walk in the grass in my bare feet. What's 10 miles up there to Mount Bedford? You think just because you... Oh!
Okay, just forget about the whole thing.
Hee-haw, forget about what, George?
Oh, nothing, Sam.
You remember Mary, don't you?
Hi, George.
Hi, Mary.
You wouldn't mind walking Mary home, would you?
Of course not. Is that okay with you, Mary?
Fine by me.
Great, thanks. Hee-haw.
George worked Mary home. Is that important, Joseph?
I'd say it is, because even though Mary lived only 4 blocks away, it took them 2 hours to get there.
Hot dog. Oh boy. Just like an organ. Gee whiz.
Beautiful.
You know something? If it wasn't me talking, I'd say you were the prettiest girl in town.
Why don't you say it?
I don't know. Maybe I will. Hey, look where we are.
Oh, the old Granville house.
Yeah, I gotta throw a rock.
Oh, no, don't. I love the old house.
Don't you know about deserted houses? You make a wish, and then throw a rock.
But George, it's such a lovely old place. I wish I lived.
I wouldn't live there if I was a ghost. Now watch this. Pretty good shot, huh? Broke a window.
What's your wish, George?
Not one wish. A whole hatful, Mary. I'm shaking the dust of this crummy little town off my feet, and I'm going to see the world. Italy, Greece, the Parthenon, the Colosseum. Then I'm coming back here and going to college and see what they know. And then I'm going to build airfields and skyscrapers 100 stories high and bridges a mile long. Hey, what? Are you going to throw a rock too? Hey, that's pretty good. What do you wish for, Mary?
Oh, no. I tell you, it may not come true.
What do you want, Mary? You want the moon? All you gotta do is just say the word. I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Okay, I'll take it. And then,
Then you could swallow it, and it'd all dissolve, see? And the moonbeams shoot out of your fingers and toes, and the ends of your hair, and the... Am I talking too much?
Yes. Why don't you kiss her instead of talking her to death?
Who's that?
old man Collins on his front porch.
You've just wasted all the wrong people.
Hey, mister, come back out here and I'll show you some kissing that'll put hair back on your head.
George!
Uncle Billy?
George, get in the car quick! Your father had a stroke!
I'm sorry. I've gotta go, Mary.
George's father died that night, Clarence, so George couldn't go to Europe. That fall, just as he was ready to leave for college, the directors of the building and loan held a meeting. They were going to appoint a successor.
What are you gonna do with this place?
I want the board to know that George gave up his trip to Europe to help straighten things out here these past few months, and it was greatly appreciated. I think that's all we need for you, George. Good luck to you at school. I know you're anxious to make the train.
Yes, I have a taxi waiting downstairs.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to get to my real purpose. I claim this institution is not necessary to this town. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to dissolve the building and loan.
You guys
Dissolve
are crazy!
the building and loan.
Soon after Peter Bailey's death, to discuss the chloroforming of the building and loan. His faith and devotion are responsible for this organization.
I'll go further than that. I'll say Peter Bailey was the building and loan.
Oh, that's fine, Potter. Coming from you, considering that you drove him to his grave.
Peter Bailey was not a businessman. That's what killed him. He was a man of high ideals without common sense. And what does that get us but a discontented, lazy rabble instead of a thrifty working class? All because a few starry-eyed dreamers like Peter Bailey stir them up and fill their heads with a lot of impossible hooey. Now I say...
Just a minute, Mr. Potter. You're right when you say my father was no businessman. Why he ever started this building and loan, I'll never know. But you can't say anything against his character. Why, in the 25 years since he and Uncle Billy started this thing, he never once thought of himself. But he did help a few people get out of your slums, Mr. Potter. And just remember that this rabble you're talking about do most of the working and paying and living and dying in this community. Well, is it too much to have them work and pay and to live and die in a couple of decent rooms and a bath? My father didn't think so. People were human beings to him. But to you, a warped, frustrated old man, they're cattle. In my book, he died a much richer man than you'll ever be.
Well, I'm not interested in your book.
Well, I've said too much. You're the board, you do what you want with this thing. But remember that this town needs this measly one-horse institution, if only to have some place where people can come without crawling to Potter. Come on, Uncle Billy.
Sentimental hogwash! I want my motion!
They're just coming out of the board meeting. I'll have to call you back. What happened, George? All we heard was yelling.
Boy, oh boy, Matilda, you should have heard George.
Yeah, they're voting us down in there.
They're putting us out of business. So what? I can get another job. I'm only 52.
You're 58.
George, they voted Potter now.
What do you mean? We're still in business.
Under the one condition that you take your father's place, George.
I'm going to college. Uncle Billy here, he's your man.
You can keep him on, that's all right.
I'm going to school. This is my last chance.
But the vote was Potter otherwise.
So George Bailey didn't go to college.
That's right, Clarence. We gave his college money to his brother instead, and we did 4 years for Harry to come back and take over the building and loan. Then he could still see the world.
There she blows! Say, Uncle Billy, you know what the 3 most wonderful sounds on earth are?
Breakfast is served, lunch is served, dinner is served.
Anchor chains, plane motors, and train whistles. Here's the professor
Well,
now.
if it isn't George Geographic Explorer Bailey. Uncle Billy, you haven't changed a bit.
Oh, am I glad to see you.
Where's Mother?
She's home cooking the fatty calf. Come on, let's go.
Oh wait, this is Ruth Dakin.
Ruth Dakin Bailey, if you don't mind.
I wired you I had a surprise. Here she is. Meet the wife.
Well, what do you know? Why?
Congratulations. Harry, why didn't you tell somebody? What's a pretty girl like you doing marrying this two-headed brother of mine?
It's purely mercenary. My father offered me a job.
Oh, he gets you and a job? Harry's cup runneth over. Come on, Ruth. Let's start ahead and leave the bags for the fellas.
All right.
George, about that job. I never said I'd take it. You've been holding the bag here for 4 years, and I won't let you down.
And that night, the homecoming for Harry became his wedding party. Uncle Billy familiarized himself with the spirits.
Boy, oh boy, I feel so good I could spit in Potter's eye. I think I will. What do you say? Maybe I should go home. You just point me in the right direction.
Right down there.
That way? Okay. Building in low tower. See you later. I'm alright.
George?
Out here on the porch, Mother.
Well, how do you like your new sister-in-law?
She's swell.
Yeah, it looks like she'll keep Harry on his toes.
Yeah, keep him out of Bedford Falls anyway.
George, do you know Mary Hatch is back from school?
Yeah.
Nice girl, Mary. The one who'll help you find all the answers.
Uh-huh.
Give me one good reason you shouldn't call on her.
Well, Sam Wainwright. Sam's crazy about her.
Well, she's not crazy about him.
How do you know that? Did she discuss it with you?
Besides, Sam's in New York, and you're here in Bedford Falls.
And all's fair in love and war?
I don't know about war.
All right, Mother. I think I'll go out and find the girl and do a little passionate necking.
George.
Bye, Mrs. Bailey. By the way, you want any books at the library?
The library? George, you go see Mary, you hear?
Hello, George.
Hello, Mary. I just happened to be passing by.
Mother just phoned and said you were on the way.
My mother just called you? How did you know? I just went for a walk and happened to be passing by. When did you get back?
Tuesday. Would you like to come in?
Well, I guess, since I'm here. Where'd you get that dress?
Do you like it?
It's all right. I thought you'd go back to New York with Sam and the rest of them.
I worked there a couple of vacations, but I don't know. I guess I was homesick.
Homesick for Bedford Falls?
Yes. And my family and everything.
I still can't understand it, though. I didn't tell anybody I was coming here.
Would you rather leave?
I don't want to be rude.
It was nice about Harry and Ruth, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's all right.
Don't you like her?
Well, of course I like her. She's a peach.
It's just marriage in general you're not enthusiastic.
No, marriage is okay for Harry and Sam and you.
Mary? Who are you talking to?
It's George Bailey, Mother.
George Bailey? Well, what does he want?
I don't know. What do you want, George?
Me? Not a thing. I just came in to get warm.
He's making violent love to me, Mother.
Oh, you tell him to go right back home. Sam Wainwright promised to call from New York tonight, didn't he?
Your mother needn't. I didn't come here to.
What did you come here for?
You're supposed to be the one who has all the answers. You tell me.
Why don't you go home?
That's where I'm going.
Mary, the telephone. It's Sam.
Forget it.
Hee-haw. Hello, Sam. How are you?
Great. Gee, it's good to hear your voice again.
Oh, that's awfully sweet of you, Sam. There's an old friend of yours here, George Bailey.
You mean old boss back, George? Hee-haw, put him on.
Wait a minute, I'll call him.
George, he doesn't want to speak to George.
He asked for him. George, Sam wants to speak to you.
Hello, Sam.
Hey, fine pal you are. What are you trying to steal my girl?
Nobody's trying to steal your girl.
I want to talk to both of you. Tell Mary to get on the extension.
Mother's on the extension.
I am not.
We can both hear you. George, put your head a little closer.
Okay.
There. That's better. We're listening, Sam.
I have a big deal coming up that's going to make us all rich. George, remember that night at Martini's bar when you told me about making plastics out of soybeans?
Huh? Yeah, soybeans.
Well, my father checked into it, and he wants to build a whole factory outside of Rochester. How do you like that?
Why Rochester?
Why not? Can you think of anything better?
Why not right here in Bedford Falls? You remember that old tool of machinery works? You tell your father he can get that for a song. And all the labor he wants too. Half the town is thrown out of work when they close down.
That's so. Wow, that sounds great. Here's the point, George. I have a job for you. That is, unless you're still married to the old broken down building alone. Oh, Mary?
I'm here.
Tell that guy I'm giving him the chance of a lifetime.
You said chance of a lifetime.
Give me that phone. Now you listen to me, Mary. I don't want any plastics. And I don't want any job. And I don't want to get married. Ever. To anyone. Do you understand that? I want to do what I want to do. And you're not going to? Oh, Mary.
George.
Oh, Mary. I love you.
George, I love you too.
George and Mary were married, and following the wedding and reception, George's old pal Ernie the cab driver drove the happy couple to the train station.
Where are you two off on this here now, honeymoon?
We're going to shoot the works. A whole week in New York. Then Bermuda. The highest hotels, the oldest champagne, the richest caviar, the hottest music, and the prettiest wife.
Here's the kitty, Ernie. $2,000. I feel like a bootlegger's wife.
Finally getting out of bed for falls, huh? Then what?
Then what, honey?
After that, who cares?
Oh, hey, George. There's something funny going on over there. Look over at the bank. Looks like a run.
Pull over a minute. Were you Ernie?
George, let's not stop, please. Let's go straight to the station.
Wait a minute. I better see what it is. I'll be right back.
Hey, Bailey, open the door!
What is this, Uncle Billy? A holiday? Why are the doors locked? There's a crowd up front.
This is a pickle, George.
What happened?
The bank called her loan. I had to hand her all of her cash.
All of it?
Every last cent of it.
Holy mackerel.
And then I got scared, George.
Open the doors. Let them in.
What's going on?
Remember that this thing isn't as black as it appears.
Where's our money, George?
You're thinking of this place all wrong. The money's not here. The money's in people's houses. In the Kennedy house, and the McLaren house, and 100 others. Now, what are you going to do? Foreclose on them?
I got $242 in here, and $242 isn't gonna break anybody.
All right, Charlie. You'll get your money in 60 days.
60 days?
That's what you agreed to when you bought your shares.
I got my money. Old man Potter's taking over the bank. He'll pay you 50 cents on every dollar. 50 cents?
If Potter gets a hold of your shares, he'll own this building and loan. He's got the bank, he's got the bus line, he's got the department stores. And now he's after us. Because he wants to keep you living in his shacks and paying the kind of rent he decides to charge. Now we can get through this all right, but we've got to have faith in each other.
My husband's out of work. We need money.
Got doctor bills to pay.
How much do you need? You've got $2,000 from the wedding.
Hey, Mary, I got $2,000 here. This will tide us over until the bank reopens. All right, Charlie, how much do you need?
$242.
Oh, Charlie, just enough to tide you over.
I'll take $242.
Okay, Uncle Billy, give Charlie $242. All right, Ed, now, how much just to get by?
$20, I suppose.
Now we're talking. Mrs. Thompson, how about you?
But it's your own money, George.
Never mind that. How much, Mrs. Thompson?
Could I have $17.50?
Bless your heart. Of course you can have it. Uncle Billy, give her $17.50. Pay it back when you can. All right, who's next?
Look at the clock. Look.
5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1. 6 o'clock. We made it. Lock that door, Uncle Billy. We're still in business.
Bailey Brothers building it. Just a minute. George, there's a call for you.
Look, will you get my wife on the phone? She's probably over at her mother's.
Mrs. Bailey is on the phone.
I don't want Mrs. Bailey. I want my wife. Oh, Mrs. Bailey. Oh, that's my wife. Mary? Hello. Listen, dear. I'm sorry. What? I'm home. What home? 320 Sycamore. What? Whose home is that? The Waldorf Hotel. Huh?
That doesn't look like Waldorf.
Oh no, number 320 Sycamore was the old Granville house, the one George and Mary threw rocks at and made wishes. Mary had prepared the house, including a turkey dinner, romantic decorations, and even a marriage bed.
Well, Mr. Bailey,
Well, I'll be.
remember the night we broke the windows in this old house? This is what I wish for.
Darling, you're wonderful.
Yes, sir, that's where they spent their honeymoon. That's where they started their lives together. Mary made that leaky old house a home, while George toiled away at the building and loan office.
Oh, gee. Mary Hatch, Why in the world would you ever marry a guy like me anyway?
Forgive me for being all pain.
I was going to give you the moon. But what have I given you? Not even a new dress. Not for months. You could have married Sam Wainwright. Anybody else in town.
I didn't want to marry anybody else in town. I want my baby to look like me.
You didn't even have a honeymoon. I promised you. You're what?
My baby.
You mean married? You're on the nest?
George Bailey lassos the storm.
Well, Mary had her baby, a boy.
You don't say!
And then she had a girl. Night after night, George would come home late from the office. Things weren't good at the building and loan. Potter was bearing down hard. Then came the war. Mary had another baby by then, but still had time to run the USO. Gower and Uncle Billy sold war bonds. Violet entertained the troops. Bert the cop was wounded in North Africa, got the Silver Star. Ernie the taxi driver parachuted into France. But Harry Bailey topped them all. A Navy flyer. He shot down 15 planes. 2 of them as they were about to crash into a transport full of soldiers.
What about George, sir?
4F on account of his ear. George fought the Battle of Bedford Falls. Air raid warden, paper drives, scrap drives, rubber drives. On VE Day, he wept and prayed. On VJ Day, he wept and prayed again.
We're getting pretty close today, aren't we, sir?
Yes, Clarence. You know now almost everything you have to know about George Bailey. Except what happened that finds him down there at this moment wanting to die. Today's the day before Christmas, and Billy's at the bank to make a deposit when he runs into Potter.
Well, well, well. Mr. Henry F. Potter. Come to the bank to deposit some more loot? How do you like the news in the paper, Mr. Potter? Henry Bailey wins Congressional Medal of Honor.
Let me see that newspaper.
Here you go. Go on and keep it. I'll have to make a deposit.
Good morning, Mr. Bailey.
Good morning, Horace. Here you are. Deposit slip, bank book, and a very Merry Christmas to you.
You too, Mr. Bailey. You want to make a deposit?
Well, certainly.
Well, it's customary to bring the money with you.
It's gone. Where did I put it? Where did I put the money?
A terrible thing, Clarence. Uncle Billy couldn't find the money because the envelope with $8,000 was folded up in that newspaper he gave Old Man Potter. At the same time as Billy started looking for the deposit, Violet came to visit George at the building and loan.
Hello, Violet. What's wrong?
You see right through me, don't you?
How much do you need?
I hate doing this to you, George, but I won't be asking for any more after this.
You planning on robbing a bank, Vi?
I'm going to Manhattan.
What's in Manhattan?
Why, everything's in Manhattan. A new start, at least.
That's a big step, Vi. What's the matter with starting a new life right here in Bedford Falls?
Well, I never thought I'd hear that from you, George Bailey. I thought you hated this place.
I did. But this town has a charm of its own.
Well, I've made a decision. There's a midnight train tonight, and I plan to be on it.
It takes a lot of character to leave your hometown and start all over again. Here's some dough.
No, George, don't.
What do you want to do? Hawk your fritters? And that hat? Want to walk to New York? I know they charge for meals and rent there just the same as they do in Bedford Falls.
Yeah, sure.
It's a loan. That's my business. Building a loan. Besides, you'll get a job. Good luck to you.
I'm glad I know you, George Bailey. Merry Christmas.
George!
What's the matter, Uncle Billy?
The money! The 8,000!
What? Uncle Billy, what happened to it?
I thought I had it. I just don't know what happened.
Well, the first place you look is in your coat pocket. I told you to put it there when you left.
Oh, I'm no good to you, George. I'm no good.
Uncle Billy, we've got to find that money. Think.
I can't think anymore, George. It hurts.
Where's that money, you stupid, silly old fool? Do you realize what this means? It means bankruptcy, and scandal, and prison. One of us is going to jail. Well, it's not going to be me.
Hello,
Hi,
Daddy.
Daddy. Hello, darling. Where's your coat back?
Left them at the office.
Isn't it wonderful about Harry? We're famous, George. What, I had 50 calls today about the parade and banquet?
Must you keep playing that?
I have to practice for the party tonight, Daddy. Mommy says you can stay up until midnight and sing Christmas carols.
Better hurry and shave. Families will be here soon.
Families? I don't want the families over here.
Excuse me.
Have a hectic day.
Oh yeah, another big red letter day for the Baileys.
Daddy, the Browns next door have a new car. You should see it.
Well, what's the matter with our car? Isn't it good enough for you?
Yes, Daddy.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Excuse you for what?
I burped.
All right, darling, you're excused. Now go upstairs and see little Zuzu.
What's the matter with Zuzu?
She caught a cold coming home from school. They gave her a flower and she didn't want to crush it, so she didn't button up her coat. The doctor said it's nothing serious.
Was the doctor here?
I called him right away.
Is she running a temperature?
Rest it easy.
Gosh, this old house. I don't know why we don't all have pneumonia. Strappy old barn. Might as well be living in a refrigerator. Why did we have to live here in the first place and stay around this measly, crummy old town?
George, what's wrong?
Everything's wrong. You call this a happy family? Why did we have to have all these kids?
Dad, how do you spell frankincense?
I don't know. Ask your mother.
Where are you going?
Some Zuzu.
Hi, Daddy.
Well, what happened to you?
I want a flower.
Where do you think you're going?
I want to give my flower a drink.
Here, give Daddy the flower. I'll give it to you.
Look, Daddy, some of the petals came off. Taste it.
All right, now. There it is. Good as new.
Give the flower a drink.
Now, will you try to get some sleep?
But I'm not sleepy. I want to look at my flower.
I know. You just go to sleep, and then you can dream about it. It'll be a whole garden.
It will?
Uh-huh.
Telephone.
I'll get it. Hello? Yes, this is Mrs. Bailey. Oh, thank you, Mrs. Welch. The doctor says she'll be out of bed in time for her Christmas dinner.
Is that Zuzu's teacher?
Yes.
Let me speak to her. Hello, Mrs. Welch? This is George Bailey. Say, what kind of teacher are you anyway? What do you mean sending her home like that, half naked?
George!
Is this the sort of thing we pay taxes for? To have teachers like you? Silly, stupid, careless people who send our kids home without any clothes on. Oh, that's stupid.
Hello, Mrs. Welch? I want to apologize for... She hung up.
I'll hang her up.
Who do you think you are?
Hello? Who is this? Oh, Mr. Welch. That's fine, Mr. Welch. Gives me a chance to tell you what I really think of your wife.
George.
Will you let me handle this? Hello? Oh, you will, huh? Okay, Mr. Welch, anytime you think you're man enough. Hello? Ugh.
Daddy, how do you spell hallelujah?
What do you think I am, a dictionary? Janie, haven't you learned that silly tune yet? You played it over and over again. Now stop it! Stop it!
George, what are you doing?
I'm sorry, Mary. Janie, I didn't mean... You go on and practice. Pete, I owe you an apology too. What did you want to know?
Nothing, Daddy.
What's the matter with everybody? Janie, go on. I told you to practice. Go on, play.
Oh, Daddy.
George, why must you torture the children? Why don't you...
Mary,
Where's Daddy going?
Bedford 247, please.
Is Daddy in trouble?
Yes, Pete.
Shall I pray for him?
Yes, too. Pray very hard.
Me too.
You too, Tom. Hello? Uncle Billy?
So that's it, George. You're short $8,000.
I'll pay any sort of interest, Mr. Potter. If you still want the building and loan,
You say it was lost. Did you notify the police?
no, I haven't. But Harry's homecoming tomorrow.
Why come to me? Why not go to Sam Wainwright?
I can't get a hold of him. He's in Europe.
Well, what kind of security would I have, George?
I have a $50,000 life insurance policy.
And how much is your equity in it?
$500.
And you want 8,000. You used to be so cocky. You were going to go out and conquer the world. You once called me a warped, frustrated old man. But what are you but a warped, frustrated young man crawling in here on your hands and knees for help? You're worth more dead than you are alive.
I'll do anything, Mr. Potter. Please help me.
Well, you know what I'm going to do for you? As a stockholder of the building and loan, I'm calling the state examiner to get a warrant for your arrest. Misappropriation of funds, manipulation, malfeasance. Go on and run. You can't hide in a little town like this.
Merry Christmas, glad you come.
Hey, this sounds pretty good.
That's good spaghetti.
Where's George, sir?
After running out of Potter's office, George ended up at Martini's bar. He had a couple of drinks and he's just sitting there.
What's he saying?
Shh.
Dear Father in heaven, I'm not a praying man, but if you're up there and you can hear me, show me the way.
Are you all right, George?
Why you drink so much, my friend? You don't feel good. Please go home, Mr. Bailey.
Bailey? Which Bailey?
This gentleman is Mr. George Bailey.
George Bailey, huh? The next time you touch my wife like that again, you'll get worse. It isn't enough she slaves teaching your stupid kids how to read and write. You gotta ball her out.
You get active here, Mr. Welsh. You hit my best friend.
All right.
Mr. Bailey, are you okay?
Who was that?
Mr. Welch. But don't worry, you don't come in this place no more. I'll get something for your face. It's bleeding.
I'm alright.
Please don't go away, Mr. Bailey. Please don't.
George is headed to the bridge now, Clarence. Can you see him?
He looks like he's gonna jump.
It's time, Clarence.
Help! Help me! I can't swim!
Hold it, mister. I'm coming.
What in the Sam Hill are the two of you doing? Now get out of that water! Are you two all right? You need a doctor?
I'm alright.
I'm fine. This underwear? I didn't have any time to get anything stylish. My wife gave it to me on my last birthday. I passed away now.
Passed away.
Oh, I see Tom Sawyer's drawing out too. Who? My book. I left in such a hurry. I brought Tom Sawyer with me. You should read the new book Mark Twain's working on.
How'd you happen to fall in?
I jumped in, so you wouldn't go through with it.
Go through with what?
Suicide.
Suicide's against the law around here.
Oh, it's against the law from where I come from, too.
Where do you come from?
Evan.
What?
I had to act quickly. That's why I jumped in. I knew if I were drowning, you would try to save me. And you did. And that's how I saved you.
Very funny.
Your lip is bleeding, George.
I got a bust in the jaw in answer to a prayer.
Oh, no. I'm the answer to your prayer, George.
How do you know my name?
I know all about you.
What are you, a mind reader or something?
Oh, no. My name's Clarence Oddbody, AS2.
Odd body. AS2.
Angel second class.
What? You may not need a doctor, but I do.
Cheerio, my good man.
Hey, look here. Why'd you want to save me?
Because I'm your guardian angel.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
Ridiculous of you thinking of killing yourself over $8,000.
How do you know things like that?
I'm your guardian angel.
Well, you look like about the kind of angel I'd get. Sort of a fallen angel, aren't you? What happened to your wings?
I haven't won my wings yet. That's why I'm an angel second class. But you can help me earn them by letting me help you.
You don't happen to have $8,000 on you.
Oh no, we don't use money up in heaven.
Comes in pretty handy down here, folks. Found it out a little late. I'm worth more dead than alive.
I won't get my wings with that attitude. You just don't know all that you've done. If it hadn't been for
If
you.
it hadn't been for me, everybody'd be a lot better off. My wife, my kids and friends,
This isn't gonna be easy.
they'd all be better off if I hadn't been born.
What did you say?
I said, I wish I'd never been born.
George, that's wonderful!
Wonderful?
What you just said, the idea you just gave me. Okay, there. You have your wish. You've never been born.
Never been born.
Exactly. No worries. No $8,000 to get nothing. You simply just don't exist.
Wait a minute. Say something else in this ear of mine.
That's right, George. You can hear out of it again. That's right, George. You can hear out of it again. Don't you see? You're nobody.
Well, that's the doggonest thing.
Your lips stopped bleeding too, George.
What do you know? What happened? I need a drink. What about you, Angel? You want a drink?
Oh, well, I don't know.
Come on, we'll go as soon as our clothes are dry.
Our clothes are dry.
That stove's harder than I thought. Well, look, let's get dressed and we'll stroll over to Martini's then. Or, excuse me, I'll stroll, you fly.
I still haven't got my wings.
There's a place to sit down. Welcome to the best bar in Bedford Falls.
Bedford Falls. Don't you mean Pottersville?
Pottersville? Hey, where's Martini? Your boss.
Look, I'm the boss. Want a drink or don't you?
Okay, alright. Double bourbon, quick on.
What's yours, Bob?
I was just thinking mulled wine, heavy on the cinnamon, light on the cloves. Go, be off with you, my lad. Be lively.
Look, mister, we serve hard drinks here for men who want to get drunk fast. We don't need any of you characters around to give the joint atmosphere.
No, just give him the same as I ordered. He's okay.
Double bourbon.
What is it about this place? Seems to have changed.
Well, all of Bedford Falls has changed. You are having your wish, George. You've never been born. There's a lot of things you'll never see. Oh, good! Someone's just made it. Every time you hear a bell ring, it means that some angel's got its wings.
What did you say?
Clarence, you better not talk about angels around here.
Don't they believe in angels?
Maybe they believe in them, but...
So
you
why should they be surprised when they see one?
Don't mind him, Nick. He never grew up. How old are you anyway, Clarence?
293 next May.
That does it. Out you two pixies go. Through the door or out the window. Well. Crawled out from whatever hole he's been hiding in.
Hey, that's Mr. Gower.
Didn't I tell you to never come panhandling around here?
Mr. Gower, this is George Bailey. Don't you know me?
Buy me a drink, mister. Just one drink, mister.
Binky, throw the rummy out.
You got it.
Hey, Nick, isn't that Mr. Gower, the druggist?
That rumhead spent 20 years in jail for poisoning some kid. If you know him, you must be a jailbird yourself. Binky, here's 2 more. Get him out of here.
You got it, boss.
What's wrong with Mr. Gower?
He doesn't know you, George. You weren't there to stop him from putting the poison into that prescription.
What do you mean I wasn't there? What are you, a hypnotist? Why am I seeing all these strange things here?
It's because you've never been born.
Then if I wasn't born, who am I?
Nobody. You have no identity.
What do you mean? My name's George Bailey.
There is no George Bailey. You have no papers, no cards, no driver's license, no F4 card, no insurance and policy.
Suzu's petals. My little girl. Some petals fell off her flower. I told her I'd fix it and stuck them in my pocket. But they're gone. Everything is gone.
You've been given a great gift, George. The chance to see what the world would be like without you.
You're crazy as a bedbug and you're driving me crazy too. Now, leave me alone. I'm going home to my wife and family.
You know the drill, sister. Hands behind your back.
Oh, why don't you bust somebody else for a change?
Hey, officer, where did the building and loan move to?
The building and what?
The Bailey building and loan. Who is in that building?
They went out of business years ago. Now all that's left is that burlesque house.
Not so fast, Copper. I know Potter.
Hey, Violet. Hey, that's Violet Pick.
Believe me, I know.
I know that girl.
Who doesn't? Get out of our way.
Taxi! Hey, Ernie, take me home. I'm going off my nut.
Where do you live?
Doggone it, Ernie. Don't you start pulling that stuff. You know where I live. 320 Sycamore. Now hurry up.
Okay. 320 Sycamore?
Ernie, straighten me out here. Forgot some bad liquor or something. Listen to me. Now, you're Ernie Bishop and you live in Bailey Park with your wife and kid, right?
You've seen my wife?
Seen your wife? I've been to your house 100 times.
What's the idea? I live in a shack in Potter's Field and my wife ran away 3 years ago and took the kid. And I ain't never seen you before in my life.
Okay, just step on it. Just get me home.
Is this the place?
Of course it's the place.
This here house ain't been lived in for 20 years.
Mary, Pete, Tommy, Janie, Suzu, I'm home.
They aren't here, George. You have no children.
What have you done with them, Clarence?
All right, put up your hands, both of you. No fast moves.
Bert, thank heaven you're here. Bert, what's happened to this house? Where's Mary? And my kids?
Come with me. I'm going to take you down to the station.
Bert, listen to me. That fellow there says he's an angel.
Don't make me use my nightstick.
Bert, I hate to do this, but...
Run! George, run!
Not really boarding house. Mother?
Mother, what do you want?
Mother, I'm George. I thought sure you'd remember me.
If you're looking for a room, there's no vacancy.
Mother, please try to understand. Something's happened to me and I need a place to stay. Please, let me stay here.
I don't take in strangers.
I'm not a stranger. I know everybody you know. Your brother-in-law, Uncle Billy.
When'd you see him last?
Today, over at his house.
That's a lie. He's been in the insane asylum since he lost his business. And if you ask me, that's where you belong.
Here again, George.
My own mother didn't even know me.
One man's life touches so many others. When he isn't around, he lives a pretty big hole, doesn't he?
Look, you, I've heard of things like this before. You've got me under some kind of a spell. Well, I'm gonna snap out of it. Now let me think. Bailey Park.
There is no Bailey Park if you weren't here to build it.
We'll see. What's this graveyard doing here where Bailey Park is supposed to be? Look at this gravestone. Why is my brother Harry's name here?
Harry fell through the ice at age 9 and drowned.
That's a lie. Harry Bailey went to war. He got the Congressional Medal of Honor. Saved the lives of every man on that transport.
Every man on that transport died because Harry Bailey wasn't there to save him. Because you weren't there to save Harry. You see, George, you really lived a wonderful life. Don't you see what a mistake it would be to throw it away?
What happened to Mary Clarence?
I'm not supposed to tell you, George.
I don't know how you know the things you do, but please, just let me see her.
You're not gonna like this, George. She's an old maid.
What? Where is she?
She's about to close up the library. There has to be an easier way to get my wings.
Is the library closed?
It's Christmas Eve. We can't stay open all night.
Mary, I'm sorry.
How do you know my name?
Please, just 2 minutes. That's all I need.
You sound desperate. I'll help if I can. What is it?
Isn't this town Bedford Falls?
It used to be, but then Potter was elected to rename the town Pottersville.
Mary Hatch, you live in a white Victorian on Reed Street with your mother. You have an older brother named Marty.
How do you know all this? Get your hands off me. I'll call a cop.
Don't you know me? You must. Mary, it's George. Oh, don't do this to me. Where are our kids? I need you, Mary.
Get away from me. Help! Police!
It's George. Please, Mary. You're my wife.
Ah!
Help me, Clarence. Get me back. I don't care what happens to me. Only get me back to my wife and kids. Help me, Clarence, please. I want to live again. Oh, God, please let me live again.
George, is that you, George?
Bert, you come any closer and I'll hit you again.
What in the Sam Hill are you yelling for, George?
George? Bert, do you know me?
Know you? I've been looking all over town for you.
I'm alive again, Bert.
You sure you're all right? Your mouth's bleeding.
It is. Hey, my mouth's bleeding. Susan's petals. There they are. What do you know about that? Merry Christmas, Bert.
Get in the car, I'll drive you home.
Merry Christmas, Bedford Falls. Hey, Merry Christmas, you wonderful old building alone. Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter.
Oh, Merry Christmas, George. Go on home. The sheriff's waiting for you.
Merry at home. Hey, what is this? Merry Christmas, everyone.
George, I've got a little paper here.
I'll bet it's a warrant for my arrest. Isn't that wonderful? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Daddy!
Kids, Pete, Janie, Tommy, I could eat you up. Where's your mother?
She went looking for you with Uncle Billy. George, darling, where have you been? George.
Mary, you're real. You have no idea what's happened.
You have no idea what's happened either. Come on, George, quick, they're on their way.
Who's on their way? The police department? The FBI? The National Guard? Let them in. I'm alive again, Mary.
Please stand right over here by the tree and don't move. George, it's a miracle. Come in, Uncle Billy, everybody in here.
Isn't it wonderful? Mary did it, George. She told a few people that you were in trouble. They scattered all over town collecting money. They didn't ask any questions. Just said, if George is in trouble, you can count on me. You've never seen anything like it.
Here you go, $242. Merry Christmas. I busted the jukebox, too.
Mr. Gower.
I made the rounds of my charge accounts.
Violet Bick.
I'm not going to go, George. I've changed my mind. I've been saving this money for a divorce, if I ever got a husband.
Merry Christmas! Getting quiet. A telegram from London.
Oh, London!
Mr. Carver cable to need cash and stuff. My office instructed to advance you up $25,000 in stuff. Hee-haw! And Merry Christmas, Sam Wainwright.
Harry.
Oh, hey, Mary!
Looks like I got here too late.
Mary, how about your banquet in Washington?
I left as soon as I got Mary's telegram.
How about some wine?
Good idea. A toast to my big brother George, the richest man in town.
What's this book, George?
Tom Sawyer.
Look, there's an inscription.
George, remember, no man is a failure who has friends. Thanks for the wings. Love, Clarence.
What's that?
A Christmas present from a very dear friend of mine.
Look, Daddy. Teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings.
That's right. Attaboy, Clarence.
This has been WBFR Playhouse of the Air's presentation of It's a Wonderful Life. Please stay tuned for a program of popular holiday music. This is Freddie Fillmore signing off for WBFR in New York City and wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Good night.